Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the football program at Tennessee State University, and we're fortunate to have with us to talk about the football program at Tennessee State University, the head coach of the football program, Coach James Webster. And of course, Coach Webster, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you.
And to tell you, Coach, how delighted we are to have you. I think our audience will probably recall that you were with us when you came to Tennessee State University, I think in 2005, yes. Was it not? Mm-hmm. And we had an opportunity to do a show with you at that time, and you've been with us since then, but I happen to remember that. And what I'd like to do this morning is to talk about some of the things that you were involved in before you became the head coach at Tennessee State University, and then from there to talk about some of the other things. But let's start off by having you to give us sort of a background information, your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in terms of bringing you to us today, and then we'll talk about other things.
Well, I'm a native of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I attended the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. Of course, I played football there, played in the Gator Bowl my senior year, where I was the most valuable player in the Gator Bowl. I won the Brian Piccolo Award, which is given to the most courageous player. I had a serious injury and broke my neck my senior year, but I had an opportunity to come back and play. I was also awarded the Frank Porter Graham Award, which is awarded to the top 12 graduating seniors from the University of North Carolina. From there, I worked for a year in business, but then I decided to get into coaching after going into business for a year, and I went back to the University of North Carolina, where I was the first black football coach at the University of North Carolina. From there, I went to the University of Florida, and I was also the first black football coach at the University of Florida. And then after that, it's just like almost being in the military, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there. I went to the University of Kansas, Colorado, Northwestern University.
A lot of experience.
A lot of experience. Wake Forest, he went to the Ivy League at Dartmouth. Back to North Carolina, at East Carolina, and ended up going back to the University of North Carolina, where I was before I came here. I was assistant head coach at the University of North Carolina before I took the job here at Tennessee State University.
And so you've made the rounds in terms of gaining a lot of experience, I would imagine, and having worked with a large number of individuals that are probably nationally known. I'm almost sure they are.
Well, one thing in coaching is that you get an opportunity to be in systems that work and systems that don't work. You know, the old saying in coaching is that you haven't coached until you've been fired.
Okay, good.
So, you know, and I found that I've learned more from being in programs that were not successful than I did the ones that were successful, because generally, if you're not successful, you're doing a lot of things that aren't right. And I knew that I wanted to be a head coach one day, so I really focused on what was happening in the program, things that we were doing right, and just also why weren't we successful? What was it that we were doing that kept us from being successful? Because those are things I knew that once I became a head coach, I had to make sure they didn't happen.
Very good. And of course, coming to Tennessee State University in 2005, what did you think about Tennessee State University as an institution, football, an athletic institution?
Well, I did a lot of homework. I went on the internet and did some research on Tennessee State. I also talked with some of the people that I knew that worked here at Tennessee State. I had an opportunity to talk with some of my friends that were familiar with Tennessee State, and the conclusion I came away with was that Tennessee State was a school, a university that had a rich heritage in athletics, particularly football. Had a lot of players that had gone on to play professional football, had a great coach in Coach John Merritt, who had won a lot of national championships. And so it was obvious to me that this was a program that had been successful. They had won on a national scale, and they were going through some tough times. But I knew that if we came in with some hard work and, you know, some things fall into place, that we could certainly bring this program back to where it was in the past.
And so after almost 4 or 5 years, your opinion, I would imagine, has only strengthened in terms of the responsibilities that have been placed upon you as the head coach, I would imagine.
Yes, well, you know, I didn't realize that it was going to be as tough as it has been. It's been tough for a lot of reasons. You know, we're in the Ohio Valley Conference, which is a tough conference. And there are a lot of things now, a lot of factors, a lot of society, things happen in society when you try to take these young men and mold them into being successful that outside of football that really affect your success on the field. And that's something that you don't really realize until you get involved, you know, with these young men. And a lot of times people don't understand that and my philosophy is that we must be successful off the football field first before we can be successful on the field. And there are a lot of issues that I have to deal with these young men off the field that does affect how they perform on the field.
In other words, they can be great athletes over the last 28 seconds we have, but unless they've got some kind of discipline and can really work with you, then you don't have an opportunity to explore and to elevate the kind of skills that they bring. Would that be the basic kind of thing?
You said it exactly correct. You know, that they just have a lot of issues sometimes, and that can make it difficult.
Very good. And of course, let us take this first commercial break, after which we'll be back with our audience.